Thanks for bearing with us while we're having fun times with our Zoom connections and things like that. I'll go back and try to find out what happened to the previous email, later today. But at any rate, it did have some updates and housekeeping items and things like that, just things for folks to know. So I'm going to turn it over now to Sylvia for the welcome song.
If we want to pray in first, Barbara, I need to find the song again.
Okay. Can I turn it over to you, Carol, and we'll start with prayer?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So please join me by taking a deep, cleansing breath, knowing that right where you are fully supported. God in me, as me, is me. And so this morning, I just feel the connection with my sojourners of like mind. I know that there is peace and harmony, love, a deep connection with spirit and with each other, because we are all one. Today I give great thanks for the father figures in my life. Grateful for the support, the understanding, the teaching, the discipline, the love that each of them have shown. And I celebrate the masculine energy that completes the yin and yang. I just know that all is in divine order, that all is in balance, that light and love and laughter come with me this day and this week. I am so grateful for the spiritual center, for Reverend Barbara, for all that is, for Ernest Holmes, for the teaching of science of mind that has truly blessed my life. I just say thank you for all these things. Knowing it is done in this moment, I just release these words. And together we say, and so it is.
Yes. Thank you, Carol. And now Sylvia. There we go. Yeah. All right. Awesome. Thank you, Sylvia, for persevering. Let me say that word correctly. Persevering. Thank you, Carol, for your prayer work. As always, it's wonderful to hear that music. It sets off certain things, I think, neuronally within my mind and therefore within my heart. So welcome to Open Door. It's Father's Day. Today we recognize our dads. Within this, we include every person, regardless of gender or path, who has in some way fathered someone or something. Fathers represent the masculine qualities of the divine. These qualities include protection, courage, assertiveness, logic, and leadership. Fatherhood is a lifelong contract. It's a spiritual assignment that calls for a person to dig deeper than he has ever imagined possible. Often we think that happens in childhood. What we find out sometimes, it happens in lifehood, every day in many ways. Fatherhood calls for willingness and courage to trust one's own godness when we just don't know what to do. It demands the softness to accept our mistakes and our successes in being a parent. Whatever our own biological dads gifted us with, they gave us life. Without dad, we wouldn't be here, not a one of us. Now, if we were face to face this morning, we'd be sharing flowers and hugs with every fatherish person. Since that's not possible, I'm going to ask first for those of you who have been a biological dad to stand up. If you've fathered someone biologically, if you've been a foster dad or adoptive parent or a stepdad, rise and shine and stay standing. There's folks standing up. All right, yay, dad. You guys are awesome. Now, if you've been a deliverer of dadness, regardless of your gender, whether you fathered a child or a person of another size or even a critter of some sort or a plant, I invite you to stand up now. What we know, folks, is that distilled fathering is simply about loving it. Love is what makes this world go around. Without that love, life just would not be. So I invite all of us now, unmute yourself. Let's give everyone standing a huge round of applause.
Woo!
You can catcall too, that's fine. Thanks, guys. Happy Father's Day. Spend it in a way that supports you and engenders love. That's what it's all about. So our messages this morning are actually two messages. Some time ago, I had a conversation with our licensed Science of Mind practitioners, and we grew the idea of coming together in teams to share experiences that we had had or times and places in our lives where we saw miracles and the work of prayer being fulfilled. So this morning, I'm going to share an experience that I had, and then Laura Rosewood, licensed Science of Mind practitioner, will also share. You'll recall that back in May, I think it was, Carol and Deborah shared components of this with us. So the thing I want to share with you today is about a physical healing that I experienced. This happened early in the spring of 2006. Now, at that time in my journey in the Science of Mind movement and experience, I was coming to completion in my second year of practitioner training. So I was facing a long written exam and then an oral paneling. It was a pretty intensive process. In doing that, I had completed a year's worth of coursework and then 2 years of practitioner training. For some months prior to the time this happened, I had been having pain in my neck, and it was getting worse and worse. The day job that I had required that I sit at a computer for hours on end, and that, of course, wasn't helping matters at all. I had tried a lot of things to alleviate this pain. I had gone to a massage therapist, done exercises, gone to a chiropractor, gone to an acupuncturist, changed pillows, done almost everything short of standing on my head. And although things helped a little bit, nothing really relieved the pain. Most of the time, on a scale of 0 to 10, I was at least a 5, sometimes a 7 or 8. I was taking handfuls, and that's a scary thing, handfuls of ibuprofen every day just to get the discomfort down enough to where I could function and work. I was also really feeling jaded and doubtful about myself as a licensed practitioner. I was wondering if I really had it, what it takes to do that. That does require some pretty strong internal awareness and living of this process. I felt like if I couldn't heal my body, maybe I had no business doing prayer work or support for others. Finally, I just gave up and I went to my medical doctor. Now, he was a great guy. He's still around. I don't go to him anymore. I found someone else that I like a little better. But he was good. You know, he worked on my neck and he talked to me for a while. And finally, he decided to do a series of x-rays. When he got those pictures and looked at them, he just told me, he said, there's really nothing for this except surgery. I need to send you to a neurosurgeon. And he gestured with his thumb. He said, you have a bone spur the size of my thumb. The only thing for that is for them to cut here and cut here. Can you imagine them trying to stop me from talking? I don't think so, okay? As I was leaving his practice that day, he handed me the x-rays and said, take these to the neurosurgeon. Well, the appointment wasn't for several weeks. He had found me a neurosurgeon who actually came to Silva once a month. So it was a while before my upcoming appointment. I decided in that time that it was important for me to begin to really live my spiritual belief system. I came home and I studied. I read parts of Ernest. I specifically looked at and studied and read over parts of the Science of Mind text where Ernest talks about physical healings and about prayer work, because I knew this was where any healing would come from. Then I wrote and rewrote a spiritual mind treatment for myself. Anytime I felt like I needed to change it, even one word, I did that. I developed a practice where I required myself to sit in prayer every morning, to read aloud my treatment, and to just stay there, to refuse to move until I knew my neck was healing. It wasn't easy. It took discipline. There was doubt, and I was afraid. I really did not have any designs on having surgery. To this day, my answer to that is, catch me if you can. It ain't happening unless it has to. I sat there every morning, and over time, a strange thing began to happen. When I was done with my treatment and done with the silence, I knew, I just knew I was getting better. Now in this teaching, we start our 5-step process of prayer with I know. We don't ask. We aren't begging. There's no beseeching. There's no deliver me from. It's I know, I claim, this then is my truth. I also went to others, people I believed in, that I knew were strong in their faith, in their teaching of this truth. I asked ministers, practitioners, and other students in practitioner classes to know truth with and for me. Now, I don't doubt that there will always be some things in my life that I just can't shift. They might be in my body, my heart, my mind, or even my finances. But I'm here to tell you, my neck is better. I never had surgery. Ernest Holmes tells us the answer to prayer is in the prayer. When I first read that many years ago, I just thought, what? What does that mean? That doesn't make any sense to me. But then over time, I learned what I think Ernest does mean by that. It might help if we changed our pronunciation with that line a bit, and we said the answer to prayer is in the prayer. What does prayer do for us? It doesn't change God, it changes us. It moves us from a place of not knowing, of seeking, or needing, or wanting, or lacking, or feeling like we don't have something, to a place where we are stronger in our faith, where hopefully, ideally, we know. This is exactly what happened to me as I studiously engaged in my treatment work every morning. Now, those doubting thoughts, they came up. You know they did. We're all human. We all have them. The bottom line is, don't go down that rabbit hole. I just refused. I shut the door and said, hell no to that mess. Not in my world. Not today. I went to see the neurosurgeon. This was fun. He looked at the x-rays. You know, he popped them up on that light box and turned the light on. And he looked at it, and he looked at me, and he looked at it, and, you know, he touched my neck a little bit. Oh, whoopee, okay? And then he said, what bone spur? You don't have a bone spur that I can see. I don't feel any anomaly. I don't see anything wrong. But then he managed to tick me off. He said, you do have some very minor arthritis. It's not surprising in a lady your age. That part did not go over well. We ain't accepting that part either. Don't go down that rabbit hole. What I want you to hear, though, is treatment works. This universe is impartial. It's impartial in its response to our prayer. It always says yes. We are surrounded by a thought atmosphere. That atmosphere reverberates with what we are. So if we know healing, if we know truth, if we know peace, if we know governmental leadership across this globe that brings forth love, peace, unity, equity for all beings, protection of our land, sea, air, and critters, if we know that, it will be. It's already happening. It's amazing. That thought atmosphere, that universal law always says yes. It doesn't care if I'm white or black or female or crazy or sane or speaking in tongues or just sitting in the silence. It says yes. What are you praying for? What are you today? What are you knowing? Maybe it's not even fully conscious. Those are the ones to really pay attention to. Most of us in this movement have trained our conscious thought to be at least moving toward the positive. Sometimes it's the stuff under the waterline. You know my favorite analogy, the iceberg. Sometimes it's that stuff under the waterline that's what's really getting ready to cause the shipwreck. Pay attention to that subconscious stuff. What's in your mind? Again, I swear, I know that you and I each have the ability. We can change our lives. We can change our health. We can change our finances. We can change the love of our lives. We can change that stuff that we call work. We have the ability to change this world. That is why we're here. We are here to be the difference, to be the truth we wish to see. So knowing this, today, when we break up after Laura's message and an enjoyable time connecting, let's just know wonderful things abound. Joy is ours. Healing and wholeness are simply running over, touching everyone. Finances, everyone has what they need. They have food, shelter, safety, clothing, work that is enjoyable to turn their hands and minds to. Let's just know good and very good. Thank you, and I love you. Laura, unmute yourself.
Yep. Thank you, Barbara. I love your reminder that the answer to prayer is in the prayer, because I think that's the key for us to know that the miracles start with us. I don't have a big example of where prayer worked, because I haven't had a major illness or anything making me super crazy. But I want to talk about the daily miracles, the daily things that happen in life that can be so much better with treatment. I was working retail, which I'm not a very good consumer, so it wasn't a real good fit for me to work retail, because I'm not going to sell you something I don't think you really need. So I would come to work and sit in the parking lot and treat before going in so that I could handle my job. And it made it pleasant. I was able to help people, and I found that I can sell when I think it's a bargain and it goes with what you want. But I wouldn't have been able to see that if I hadn't taken the time to connect with treatment before going in. One of the main things that I've always used treatment for are the hard conversations. Those times when I'm mad at someone, or I need to help someone, or I need to say something that I'm pretty sure they're not going to want to hear. And, you know, sometimes I can be like a bull in a china shop and just go in, and that never really works. So I would take time to treat and say that prayer, that the right words come through, and get into that space of being with the divine. Just a second. And I'm still every time amazed at how well those conversations go. And I know it's because of the treatment. It's because of taking that time to connect, make my intention known in that treatment, knowing that the conversation is going to be amazing. I will never give up treatment before one of those conversations. I used to, when I was a member at CSL Asheville and I did the platform treatments, I would treat before I treated, because I wanted to be that open channel of source and let the words flow through me. And that treatment, to put me in that space, allowed me to do that, allowed me to say and hear things coming out of my mouth that I wouldn't have known if I had been treating just from my ego. I want to talk about a little bit about when treatment doesn't work. I was at a job, I was a customer service rep, so I was on the phone all day long. I don't like to talk on the phone, so I kind of took this job to get more experience doing that, but it didn't really resonate with me. And the job was supporting the pharmaceutical industry, which I really don't like. And the building was dark, and everything just was not working well. So I thought, in this position in the company, I'm not happy. So I will look for a new job in this company because I needed work. And I applied, I did my treatments, did well in the interview, but I didn't get the job. So I thought, well, here's another position. I did my treatments, went in for the interview, and I still didn't get the job. And there was one more job that came up, and I thought, well, I really like this because I like research. And I'm treating and praying and go in and do well in the interview. And they tell me they would love to hire me in next time because they needed someone that knew the product well. And I'm thinking, wow, 3 strikes, I'm out. What is Spirit trying to tell me? Why are my treatments not working? And like Barbara was saying, what is the unconscious treatment? My unconscious energy was, I don't want to work here. I want out. And Spirit knew what my true desire was. And so, of course, I figured out when I could quit and I left. But the thing was, I was not aligned with what my true desire was. And so my treatments to get a new position with this company didn't work. So we have to know that when we're treating, that we match our energy with what we really want. And if it's not working, take the time to ask yourself, well, what do I really want? Let that energy come through, let that wisdom come through to say, oh, it's not working because I really want this. And then treat for that. It was quite an eye-opening experience because I thought I was doing everything right in the treatment, and I really had to look at what I believed, what I was really passionate about was not at that employer. You can't go against your basic beliefs and expect God to answer that prayer, expect it to materialize. But what I want to get back to is the daily miracles. Because I just had an experience recently that actually ended well, but freaked me out at the beginning. I am in ministerial school, and as part of that process, we have to do practicums, which are hands-on application of what we're learning. And as part of my time in the program, I have to do 11 of them. So they're in place of internships. And in preparation for my last year, I had 10 of them done. I had the agreements written. I had the reflection papers written. I'm thinking I'm good to go, only one more to do. And I'm in a meeting with the dean, and she's talking about the practicums and that they went out to review them and no one had any out there to review. And I'm going, what? I got 10 out there. It's in Dropbox. I'm going, okay, well, I've got 10 out there. I'll double check. The next morning I went and looked and they were not there. So they're not in Dropbox. So I look on my computer. They're not on my hard drive. So I look on my flash drive. They're not on my flash drive. So you realize I have backups of the backup. And they are not there. I'm freaking out. I'm sending an email to Dean. It's like, okay, I can't find them, but I will get them done as soon as possible. And then I decide I need to go for a walk and walk around the lake. And I just connected with Spirit and said, I know that all is well. I know that these flow gracefully. Whatever reason there is for me to do this a second time, I surrender, it will fall into place. And I just knew it was all gonna unfold perfectly. And that peace and calm came back into my experience. And I also got the inspiration for the 11th practicum, which before was just going to end up being theoretical of how to, defining a service, because even before COVID-19, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to actually do it. So after being upset, I treat, I'm calm, I have a new idea, I come back and go, all right, I'm just going to check. I go out to Dropbox. 6 of them are there completed. They're back in their places with the reflection paper. I go to my computer, 7 and 8 are there written, just need to be put up. And then 9 and 10, they're started but not completed. And I go, I can live with this. And I'm thinking, thank you, God, because whether I missed it at the beginning or not, going into treatment put me in that space of calm where I could find them. And they were there. And having the idea for the last practicum that really is relevant to what I'm doing and what may be my ministry was an additional blessing. So it's like any time that anything comes up that is stressful or not what you want it to be in the daily life for yourself, get into the habit of treating. Say that prayer. Even if it just makes you calm, you'll still be able to have a new perspective on anything that's coming up. And like Barbara was saying, it's this perfect time to treat for the world. How do we want it to look? And know that that's unfolding as we put our energy behind it. I think treatment is just, it's the go-to thing. And the challenge is to build the habit to know that that's what you should do. It takes a while to get into that habit of taking that step back from the chaos and the, oh no, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And just connect with spirit and treat and know that all is well, and it will be. So like I was saying, gosh, treat for what's happening now, treat for yourself, know that prayer it's the answer for our individual lives and for what's happening in the world.
Thank you, Laura. That was wonderful. I just love a few things you shared. I loved it all, but the whole thing of when you're stepping into a situation where with another being that your interactions may not be wrinkle free. That whole thing of claiming and knowing ease and peace and camaraderie with that other individual is really a powerful way to sort of grease the wheels of personal interaction. And I love too, we're always at a point of choice. I mean, I've always got that option when I'm faced with something to go down that rabbit hole of struggle, or to go, no, this is not how it even be that way. Let's go the happy way. Let's go the way of possibility and potentiality. And prayer does that for us. It really does. Very sweet. So now we have a piece of music. This is Daniel Namod. I'll turn it back over to Sylvia. Father of my soul.
Father of my soul, thank triumphs and trials, for the moment and mystery, for the sorrow and the smile, for the peace and the conflict, for the silence and song, for the calm and confusion, for the winter and the war. Oh, mother of my heart, thank you for the blessings of the day. Oh, mother of my heart, thank you for the blessings of the day. For the light and the shadow, for the triumphs and trials, for the moment and mystery, for the sorrow and the smile, for the peace and the conflict, for the silence and song, for the calm and confusion, for the winter and the war. For the light and the shadow, for the triumphs and trials, for the moment and mystery, for the sorrow and the smile, for the peace and the conflict, for the silence and song, for the calm and confusion, for the winter and the war. Father of my soul, thank you for the blessings of the Father of my soul, thank you for the blessings of Thank you for the blessings of the day. Oh, Father of my soul, thank you for the blessings of the day.
Very sweet. Thank you, Sylvia, for supporting us in hearing that. I love Daniel Nahmad. Now, at this time in our service, we extend prayer everywhere. And as we do this morning, I think all of you are of a time in life when you can recall that song by Neil Diamond, where he's talking about hands reaching out, touching. As we step into this time in prayer this morning, I would ask for you to just close your eyes to see the very loving hands of life itself reaching out all across this globe, all across this planet, every being being lifted up in love, touched, supported, changed. Let us know together an experience of love that transcends the color of skin, the cultural background, the historical perspective. Let us know a love that simply reaches high and claims and brings forth the experience of everything evening out, so that all have what they need, so that food is abundant, that it is present for every single individual, every critter, every being, that it is on every plate, that everyone is filled up and nourished, not only nutritionally, but spiritually, brought to wholeness, brought to wellness, where we can look at the current world experience and see unevenness. Let us see that working out. Let us know that no longer will illness, lack, or limitation embody the life of anyone, anywhere. Let us see every cup filled up in every possible way. Let us see that love, that good and very good spilling out, easing, healing, softening, bringing unity, bringing care, bringing life itself to everyone. For this, I am honored. I am gifted and blessed to see truly a potentiality that is better, is a world that is better for every one of us. I hold gratitude for every one of us and for the amazing truth through which we generate a better life for every being. I know that it is good and beyond good, and I know that it is done. I see it, I know it, I experience it, I embody it, as do we all. We let this go, and together we say, and so it is. Sweet. And so just to remind folks, we continue to offer community connection on Thursday evening at 8 p.m. It is a different Zoom link, so you are welcome to participate with us anytime you would like. It's an open mic experience. Sometimes we just talk, and other times we talk about science of mind, and other times we talk about things that have very little to do, it seems, with science of mind. It's fun, it's relaxing, and it's connecting. I also want to thank those of you who have made contributions to Open Door this past week. We continue to entertain all of our ongoing expenses, rent, payroll, cost of speakers, etc. So it really helps when you make donations. You can do that by going to our website, findadeepertruth.org, clicking on donate, and that will take you to a link where you can donate either through PayPal, debit, or credit card. You can also mail a check or money order to Open Door CSL 30, that's 30 North Ridge Point, apartment T5 in Silva, North Carolina, 28779. I tried to send a link out this week with today's Zoom link, and apparently that email never went anywhere, or something weird happened to it. But within the context of that, one of the things I shared was that thanks to a lot of people pursuing a lot of efforts, Sylvia and others, we have now been able to get our messages from our Sunday Zoom services and turn them into MP4s and get them to our YouTube channel. You can see those messages. Last week, Reverend Sally is on there, and the week before, Laura is on there. And you can also see messages from way back, 2013, 14, 15, not only of myself, but other wonderful speakers as well. To get there, simply go to YouTube. In the search line, put in one word, all together, no spaces, Open Door CSL, and that would take you to our channel, and you'll be able to see lots of great messages there. A lot of those were taped all the way back years ago when we were in our very first space, and then in our second space, and then a couple from, this time, this Zoom experience as well. Also, one last thing, and I didn't put this in the email, folks have asked about reopening. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of information about that. I am concerned about the current rise in COVID-19 diagnoses. So, I think to keep us safe, we will continue to do Zoom for a while. However, I have found out, David Phelps isn't with us this morning, but David and I had a conversation, and I found out how easy it's going to be for us to actually Zoom Sunday services live once we do reopen, which is huge for those of you I know who travel some distance or don't even live anywhere near, around Western North Carolina. So yeah, that's that piece was stressing me out pretty bad. So I'm very excited to know that it looks like that's going to be a pretty easy situation. We'll have to walk through it. Look, Joanne's holding something up now. I guess she's streaming us on Zoom or doing us live on Zoom right now. So we'll see.
Your email came through, and that's the only way I got in today.
Who knew? I don't know what happened, guys. I have no idea.
I have a folder for you with the past links, and I printed a couple of them, and I kept going in there with the same numbers and password. It wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And then I all of a sudden went back to my phone, and there was your today came in at 11:30, or I don't know why it came in at 11:30, but I finally got in with the fresh link. So I just discovered I have to use what you send every week in order to get in.
Okay, that's good to know. And usually when I set it up, it sets up for about 6 weeks automatically. So it should be the same, not the same link for Sundays and Thursdays, but the same link for consecutive Sundays, and then another link that's good for consecutive Thursdays for a while. But I just don't know.
I'm not getting in through those. I have to go to your current link every Sunday.
Good to know. Good. Thank you for letting
Just me or just my system. Who knows?
Who knows?
Thank
right?
you. Thank
So-
you for letting me.
Laura, once more to close us with prayer. You are welcome to unmute and stick around afterward if you'd like to. I'll be here for a few minutes. Thank you all.
All right, I'm just here in this space of gratitude for this time together in community, knowing the presence of God in each one of us, filling our lives, filling who we are, and knowing that each one of us is blessed as we go forth for our week and every day filled with joy, with new adventures, that this is a time where we know ourselves, know what we want, and set that in motion. And I'm grateful that we have this time to meet, that we have this time to remember and open up to who we truly are. And as we go forth, I just know that Spirit is there with us, always there, guiding, inspiring. And I just let this go, knowing that it's already done, that each one of us is filled with that presence, that we have magnificent experiences and our lives unfold in divine perfection. And the universe has said, yes, it takes this as I release it, creates it, and I know that it is here now. And so it is.
And so it is. Sweet. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for being here this morning. Again, if you want to unmute and stick around, you're welcome to. Namaste and blessings.